Hey, Draymond. Just wanted you to talk a little bit about that post-game scuffle between you and Drake.
You got a question about basketball? It wasn't really a scuffle because I didn't hit him and he didn't hit me, or I didn't push him and he didn't push me. We talked. We barked a little bit, but I wouldn't necessarily consider that a scuffle. Not really what I personally would consider a scuffle.
All right, what is going on, everybody? Again, it's Justin Imler here with the Weekly Heated Sports Podcast. Thank you again for tuning in, and we really appreciate it. And I'm just going to kind of dive into what we're going to talk about today. We have a lot we're going to go over. We're going to get Harrison in on call. We're going to go over a lot of NBA Finals stuff. We have Kevin here waiting in the studio. We're going to go over a lot of NFL topics, kind of diving in, previewing the NFL season. Main debate is Russell Wilson a top 5 quarterback in the league. He signed like that basic mega extension with the Seattle Seahawks. He's now the highest paid player in the league. But is he a top 5 quarterback? I mean, quarterback's the position that everybody's looking at, but that's something that me and Kev are going to talk about. And the key voluntary OTAs that have now started in the NFL. Keyword there is voluntary, but for some reason people are still freaking out about why players are skipping out on it, even though it's not mandatory. But we're going to dive into that because our boy Odell Beckham Jr. is in the news yet again for that very reason of skipping out on those voluntary OTAs. So we're going to dive into that as well with Kevin here a little later. Again, you guys know the drill. We're going to dive into some of the previous Heated Sports articles that we've been posting on our website here throughout the past week. A couple baseball articles coming out, so that's something that's kind of new, and I mean, I like personally because I'm a pretty big baseball guy myself, but Zach, one of our writers you've seen on the show a lot, he put out an article about the Minnesota Twins. He was actually on the podcast with me last episode, and we actually talked a lot about the Twins and just how they're shocking the baseball world right now. They're still currently the top team in baseball, record-wise, but I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I don't think really many people are going to pick them to actually, like, make a World Series run, or if you're picking the most talented team in baseball, most people aren't going to pick the Twins, which is kind of a shame because, I mean, I think they deserve some love and they should be in that conversation, but it's a very low-market town, low-market franchise out in Minnesota. Very low profile, a lot of low profile players, not many really common names that are over there on the team right now. I mean, personally, it's kind of tough to really pick them like in the American League. I mean, I'm looking at teams like the Astros and the Yankees. They're kind of creeping up on the Twins here to kind of take that top spot record-wise in baseball. I would probably take those two teams over the Twins, but Twins probably, yeah, definitely top 3 in the American League right now. If I'm even picking just like potential playoff push threats or anything like that, I'm still putting the Twins in that conversation, which a lot of people wouldn't be. But I mean, if I'm putting significant money down on it, I'd probably take in the Yankees or the Astros right now in the American League over the Twins. But they definitely deserve some love, and Zach dives a lot into that overall topic and just the surging Minnesota Twins and just trying to figure out how long they can sustain this and see if they can actually take that into a potential playoff run this year. Another baseball article that we had out, Pete actually just recently put out an article kind of just talking about the overall just popularity of Major League Baseball. I mean, if you're looking at it, baseball or Major League Baseball is always America's pastime. That's always the sport. Baseball is America's pastime, but especially recently, I mean, it's definitely taken a dive in terms of popularity. I mean, if you're looking at, I would definitely say probably ranking the top sports in terms of popularity, I would probably go NFL, NBA, and then MLB after that, maybe. But yeah, I mean, NFL and the NBA are just taking laps around the MLB in terms of overall popularity, just the diversity of the audience that's actually watching the sport. Baseball is very particular, and I mean, it's obviously really the slowest sport that you're going to watch on TV. And I think that's the biggest thing because especially younger generations, it's really just going to be a matter of the attention span and the lack thereof, I should say, for especially those younger generations. It's a tough sport to watch if you really don't have too much experience with it. I've mentioned a couple times that baseball is always like the main sport that I played a lot of when I was a kid growing up all the way through high school. So I have a big baseball background and I've always loved the sport and I enjoy watching pros play it as well. But if you really don't have any playing experience in baseball, I can definitely see the other side of it and just see how boring other people might think it is. A lot of my friends complain about that a lot, and I mean, I really can't argue with them because it definitely can get boring at times, even for me. But there's just a lot of people kind of arguing or trying to just make up like ideas on how they can improve the game of baseball, how you can reach more people, get more people excited about it. My big push, I think, personally, is that I think the season should be shortened a little bit. There's no need to have 150, 160 plus games for an MLB regular season before you even get to the postseason. I like the NBA. The NBA has, like that 80 game regular season. I mean, I think in that range for baseball, I don't think it would hurt, to be honest. I mean, it sounds weird because that would basically be cutting the season in half, but I don't think the baseball MLB regular season needs to be that extensive. I think if there was less games to watch, you could hype up the individual games more, and I think people would actually tune in and watch a lot of them, especially on like the local level, watching those local teams. And I mean, it helps the athletes as well. I think it helps the teams. You're basically traveling non-stop for that whole entire stretch of the season. Kind of slows everything down. Players can kind of take more focus on practice as well, trying to improve their game, because there really isn't too much time to practice when you're in the season. So I'd be all for kind of trying to shorten the schedule, shorten the overall just span of the season a little bit. That would be my main push for it. But I mean, a lot of people try to come up with other arguments like shortening the games. I really don't think shortening the games would really do too much. That's really tough. I mean, 9 innings, that's just been the standard for the history of baseball pretty much. I mean, you really can't go ahead and do anything like that, but I've seen that in some articles, doing some research a little bit. But anybody that has any background in baseball will tell you that's really not going to be a great idea regardless. But that's another article there, a really interesting topic that Pete kind of dove into, so I just wanted to give my 2 cents on it, and yeah, I thought it was really cool, so I definitely think you guys should go check that out. If you have any interest in baseball or even any of your own opinions, we would love to hear them in the comments or in the comments of the article online as well. Up here next, obviously, again, I mentioned Harrison Weaver a lot. He's our NBA expert over here with Heated Sports. He's been putting out weekly NBA playoff articles for us since the playoffs started back last month. We're actually going to get him on call here in a second, just going over a lot of NBA Finals news. So Game 2 is actually happening tonight for us when we're recording this. So the Raptors, I'm not going to say surprise people, because, I mean, I definitely think they had a good shot to win that game at home. First home playoff game for the Finals game for the franchise. Was really cool atmosphere to see, and Toronto took care of business in Game 1. Really, everything went right for them. I mean, the bench just went off. Van Fleet is still just continuing to light things up. The bench, Siakam even finally woke up, and he played really well in that first game. A lot of things went right for the Raptors, and a lot of things went wrong for the Warriors, which I really don't think that's going to happen every single game for the Raptors, which is why I still like the Warriors in this series. I originally picked the Warriors in 5, which, I mean, is definitely a little bold. Many people aren't picking the series to end that quickly, but especially if KD comes back by Game 3, which is when I think he's going to come back in that first home game for Golden State. I could definitely see the Warriors taking care of business that quick, just because they've been there, they've done that year in and year out. They know how to handle their business, and I think they're going to make some major adjustments here for Game 2. So we're going to take a short intermission. We're going to get Harrison on call, and we're going to go over a lot of things with Harrison here too, talking about his finals preview article and just kind of getting his thoughts going into Game 2 here as well. So we'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, we're back now. We have NBA expert, Heated Sports member Harrison Weaver on call with us, man. Harrison, how you doing, dude?
Pretty good, man. How about you?
Good, man. So I just want to talk about the article that you put out here last week, NBA Finals preview article right before Game 1. You pretty much had 2 very different predictions depending on that guy that's named Kevin Durant. I don't know if people have heard of him or not, but he's kind of important. So just do a quick summary for that for me. So you had 1 pick if Kevin Durant doesn't play at all during the series, and then another pick if he does come back relatively quick after like Game 2 or 3. So go over that for me real quick.
Yeah, so basically, if you read the article, you already know if Kevin Durant does not come back, the Raptors are going to win this series. Simply because I don't think the Warriors have the same kind of punch. They don't have the same kind of depth. They're banged up. Iguodala, he's looking like he's suffered a little injury here in the first game. Obviously, Kevin Durant not being in would be huge. And Boogie Cousins, whether he's healthy or not, I don't really think it matters too much. He's been kind of a non-factor. I just think the Raptors, they're long, they can shoot, they can play offense and defense. It's something that the Warriors have not seen so far. The Blazers, obviously, they had a great run. CJ and Dame had a great playoffs, but it's not the same kind of punch. Houston never summoned up the kind of effort that I expected to see out of them. So I think the Raptors match up really well. Kawhi's been playing out of his mind. So without KD, I don't think that the Warriors have the versatility on offense or defense to be able to match up with the Raptors. Because the Raptors, with their length, what they did this offseason was build up a really fantastic defensive team. They went out, they got Danny Green and Kawhi. Obviously, that's huge. 2 amazing defensive players. They went out and got Marcus Gasol. And honestly, that was all to be able to lead on the defense throughout the playoffs, and it's showing up so far. So without KD, I don't think they have the players to be able to break that down or to be able to stop the Raptors on offense. Obviously, if KD comes back, it's very much the opposite. Because KD, people are arguing he could be the best player in the league right now.
That's just a whole nother presence that they have to account for then if KD comes back.
Exactly. I mean, to me, it's neck and neck between who's been better in the playoffs between KD and Kawhi. Either way, if you put Kawhi on a team that already has, not Kawhi, if you put KD on a team that already has Curry, Thompson, and Draymond Green, I just don't think there's any team in the league that can match up with that. So, I mean, I think it kind of goes as a no-brainer. If KD comes back, Game 3, it changes things big time. I think the Warriors win in probably 6 or 7.
So you're still either way you think the series is going the distance pretty much regardless. So I mean if KD's back,
exactly.
You still have it going 6-7 games. KD doesn't come back. I think you said Raptors in 7, right? Raptors in 7 is what you were going with.
I did say Raptors in 7 without KD. I just think it's hard to go into Oracle and steal games there. But I think if it goes to Game 7 in Toronto without KD, the crowd has been tremendous.
Oh yeah, like the crowd in Game 1 was just insane, and like people forget about like the home court advantage. Like this is like the first time in I think the last like 10-15 years where the finals favorite doesn't have home field advantage throughout the finals. So I mean, yeah, Game 7 crucial in any series is in Toronto instead of Golden State at the Oracle. So I mean that's gonna like a huge deciding factor that is weighing in on a lot of people's decisions, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a huge home court. I mean, that crowd is raucous, and then like Jurassic Park, that like viewing they have outside the stadium.
Oh yeah,
thousands of people lining up just to watch that.
No, yeah, I'll say there was people waiting in line. I think at like at 12, like at noon. So like about 8-9 hours before the game starts, people were already waiting to get in the stadium, pretty much.
Then you got the biggest Raptors fan of all time, Drake, sitting courtside. Telling Draymond Green that he's trash. that is home court advantage.
I'll say that Drake is just adding a whole nother element to the Raptors and just in the home court, just atmosphere in general. But one quick question here for you, man. So we touched on the article and your picks right now, but looking at Game 2, because right now we're recording this the day of Game 2, so Game 2 hasn't happened yet. What do you think, like, who's this game more important to? So do you think this game's more important for the Raptors and trying to go up 2-0 heading into Oracle afterwards? Or is this more important for the Warriors trying to get another game heading into that home court for the next 2 games? Do you think the Warriors are in trouble, essentially, if they go down 0-2 here, or are they going to be all right?
I think this is a must-win for Toronto. I think the Warriors, if they lose this, everyone's saying KD's going to come back in either Game 3 or Game 4.
I think he has to. I think he comes back Game 3, home court and Oracle. I think he's coming back.
Yeah, I agree. I think Game 3 is a comeback. So, I mean, if Toronto loses tonight's game, they're going to be in trouble trying to win even one game in Oracle with KD coming back. All the odds makers are saying is that if the Warriors win tonight, they're going to be substantial favorites, probably 3-1 favorites if they were to win tonight. Yeah, if I'm Toronto, I'm a little bit concerned if they would lose tonight. I think this is a big game for them. If they can steal this, then they have 2-0 advantage. I think that they could possibly steal one in Oracle. In that situation, they'd be looking at a 3-1 lead. Yeah.
I'll say, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I think like anything is possible. I mean, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm looking forward to it regardless. I mean, I already mentioned, but I mean, I'm hyping up the Warriors. I think that they're going to be fine regardless. I mean, even without KD, I think the series will go the distance a little bit. But in general, I mean, again, the general consensus is that KD is going to come back here pretty soon. So if KD's back by Game 3, I like the Warriors in this series. The Raptors are surprising a lot of people. I mean, I hope they keep it competitive, and I'm sure they will. They could definitely steal a game in Oracle here in Games 3 or 4, but overall, in general, I mean, I'm excited for it. Man, I'm gonna end it there for you, dude. I really appreciate all the input and everything with the article. Kind of touched on a lot of your picks and everything. Keep an eye out for Harrison's weekly articles, guys. NBA writer specifically for Heated Sports. So those are gonna go out normally every Wednesday night. So keep an eye for that. And Harrison, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
All right, guys, so we're going to transition here real quick. We're going to get Kevin on the podcast here now. Kevin's our main NFL guy, so we're going to go over a lot of different topics and kind of previewing what's to come here for the NFL season. So we're going to transition, take a quick break. We're going to get Kev on here real quick. We'll be right back, guys. All right, everybody, thanks for your patience. We're back now. We have Heated Sports NFL expert Kevin Eagleson here in the studio with us. So I previewed the topics already in the beginning that you heard me say, so we're going to jump right into it with those quote-unquote voluntary OTAs that the NFL just started here last week. Main guy in the news for that, our friend Odell Beckham Jr., pretty much skipping the entire OTAs. Again, voluntary OTAs, it's the last time I'm going to use voluntary, but we just need to stress the fact because a lot of people are freaking out that Odell isn't here, and that includes now head coach Freddie Kitchens, first-year head coach for Cleveland, making some comments to the media. I'm going to be paraphrasing here, but essentially a reporter just asked like what has Odell been missing since he's been skipping out on OTAs. If you've been living under a rock, this is Odell's first year in Cleveland. He got traded from the Giants in the offseason. But yeah, his response was just the offense. Or no, sorry, they said he was missing a lot. And then he stressed about missing the offense and just not learning the offense. So very short and not very detailed responses, but clearly in the tone you could tell he was at least frustrated or at least tired of hearing about the Odell situation. Odell, I think the actual number is that he's been in Cleveland for 3 days, and since like being traded, it's been close to 70, 80 days, and only 3 of those days being in Cleveland with the team. So that's not really a great look. So I mean, I understand why people, including the new head coach, would be frustrated. But do you think that people are overhyping this situation? Like, would you be worried if you were like the head coach or a fan of that team? Like, what are you thinking with that?
I'd be a little disappointed. I wouldn't say worried, though. I mean, the Browns are paying him so many millions of dollars to be a part of the team, and you'd love to see him at these OTAs where the team gets together, especially in his first year here. But that being said, he's earned the ability to not come to them, being the superstar that he is. And it's not like he's sitting at home doing nothing. He is working out. He's doing his own thing. He's getting ready for the season. And come the beginning of the season, he's going to be ready to go. Maybe the chemistry won't be all there to start off, or it won't be where it could have been. He was attending these OTAs, but I mean, I think people are really overhyping it. It's not such a big deal. I mean, it happens every year. Yeah,
I mean, like, it's definitely, like you said, the word superstar. Like, those are the names that are really common with skipping these OTAs. I mean, Le'Veon Bell is another one, coincidentally also on a new team for the first year, and that's kind of my main issue, is that if it's your first year with the team, like, I get it, like, yes, like, these guys are established players, they're clearly playing at a high level, probably don't need the extra practice, but if it's your first year with the new team, new system, new coaching staff, I think you need to be in the building. Like, whether you're practicing at, like, full force that you should be or could be, that's another story, but at least be in the building, be associating yourself with your teammates, just interacting and trying to be a part of this new franchise. Like, that's like the biggest thing for me. It's not a good look, but I mean, I think like people aren't going to stress about it when Odell catches up for 100 yards and a touchdown in week 1. Like, people aren't going to care anymore. But just kind of seeing in the news in that interview this week that Freddie Kitchens seemed pretty frustrated about it. That kind of just took this whole situation to another level now. Again, I'm not too worried about it. I think all these guys will be fine. Another name, Tom Brady. Not comparing these guys to the level of Tom Brady, but apparently Brady hasn't been to these OTAs in the last like 8 to 10 years apparently. Yeah. So like Brady's skipping it every single year. Again, he's more like the GOAT tier, I think. So I mean, Brady has a free pass, but I think players like this do too, like kind of like you said. It's not the end of the world. I think people are freaking out a little too much about it, but again, if I'm a first-year head coach and I just got this superstar receiver, got him traded to my team, I would want him there, especially with how big of like a personality and just off the field distraction Odell can be sometimes. I would just want him to just show up to practice, stay out of the media, this, that, and the other. But again, I mean, it's not the end of the world. In a couple weeks, people are going to forget about it, hopefully, but it's just kind of annoying that people are stressing that much about it right now.
Yeah, it'd be nice for the Browns organization. I mean, I'm sure he brings a ton of energy and just a ton of excitement. Like, if fans knew he was showing up to these, just going to bring another level of excitement to their fan base. But like you said, come week 1, we're going to forget all about this.
Yeah, it's not going to be a big deal. But I'm going to transition here a little bit because I want to talk about that guy, Russell Wilson, that we mentioned. Was having a debate with some friends here over the weekend, just kind of ranking these top quarterbacks. I mean, in the offseason, if you're not a huge NFL fan, Russell Wilson just became the highest paid player in all of football, signing a huge extension with the Seattle Seahawks. But basically, I mean, being the highest paid player in the league, that means that you have to be like at the top level of your position. And we were kind of seeing is Russell Wilson a top 5 quarterback? And that was kind of the debate that I was having with a few of my friends. Like, is he up in that level? Because I'm throwing 3 names out here now that for me, I think are clearly just the 1, 2, 3, and that's it. And that's Brady, Mahomes, and Breeze.
Okay.
I'm looking at those 3 as the clear in any order. I'm not like ranking them in that order right now, but 1, 2, and 3, Brady, Breeze, Mahomes. I'm looking at those 3, so that leaves 2 spots left. I want to get your take on it before I give like my next couple picks and kind of see where I play out, because I want to get your thoughts on it first. So what do you think? Is Russell Wilson in that top 5?
All right, yeah, I absolutely think so. I'm a huge Russell Wilson fan. First of all, I want to say I think he earned his contract. We've seen him over the past couple years, just him completely carrying that Seahawks offense.
So there's no knocking on what he did last year. He's
unbelievable.
That team should not have made the playoffs or even been in the hunt for the playoffs last year, and he pretty much put that offense on his back and led them to a playoff berth last year.
Last year they actually had a run game though, which was kind of a change from previous years. Before that, he was literally doing everything. It was so impressive, yeah. So I think he definitely earned his contract, and I'm saying he's top 5. I'm gonna go even farther. I'm saying he's top 3. Out of all the quarterbacks in the league, over him, I want Mahomes. I want Rodgers, and then I'm saying it's Wilson.
Okay, yes.
Andrew Luck a close 4th, and then Drew Brees 5th.
See, that's all right. So like you mentioned a few of my names too. So you're putting him ahead of Breeze and Brady.
Yeah,
like, if you had to put a guy to lead your team
Brady
for
probably
next year,
6 for me.
yeah. See, like that's like the thing, because like Brady's Brady's up there, but like he's up there in age too. Like that's the thing. So like, but if it's for 1 year, like all right, I'm asking for 1 year, not like to build your franchise around. For this next season, if you could have Brady or Wilson, you're taking Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Oh man, like I don't.
He's clutch.
Like you name the other guys that I'm like having in my list in my head right now. So Rodgers is up there too, and I think Rodgers would probably be 4, like after like those 3 that I mentioned. And then like I'm shuffling around a couple guys. Like I'm looking at Andrew Luck, like you said. Like after last year, like Andrew Luck is back, and there's no denying that whatsoever. Andrew Luck is in there. Russell Wilson, like I obviously have him in the conversation, or we wouldn't be having this conversation. So Russell Wilson's there. I mean, that's like those are like the main ones I'm kind of struggling with. I mean, I'm gonna be biased here and shout out Ben Roethlisberger a little bit, but I don't think he's like in that top 5 level. But he's definitely been slinging it. He led the league in passing yards last year, so I think he's in like that like next like top tier. But I mean, ranking him ahead of like those other guys I mentioned is tough.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz, a lot of people forget about, but he was an MVP favorite before he got injured 2 years ago. But yeah, if I have to look at it, I mean, I might have Russell Wilson at 5th, but like if I have to.
Top 3.
Dude, top 3 is just blasphemy. Like I mean, you can't deny what he's been doing, but you're picking him over Breeze and Tom Brady,
Every time.
For sure, first ballot Hall of Famers who are still carrying their teams to playoff runs. I don't know about that one, but it's an interesting conversation, because I remember a few years ago Matthew Stafford became the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, and like that guy is just not a good quarterback right now. I mean, I didn't think he deserved that contract when he got it signed a few years ago.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's putting up, like, I'll say consistently above average numbers is how I'm going to phrase Matthew Stafford, but he's not putting a team on his back like Russell Wilson. He's not making a playoff berth every single year like pretty much all these other guys that we've mentioned already. And like they're just not that like they're just throwing money away. Like I think Russell Wilson definitely deserved it, like you mentioned. But I mean, again, if you're the top paid guy in all of football, that should mean that you're the top guy in all of football. And I just don't know if he's up there. But again, the quarterback is by far the most like crucial and interesting position that you need to have if you want to be successful in the NFL. So it's interesting. I'm not knocking on the Seahawks for doing it, because if you let him go, which clearly he would have been out if they didn't sign him by his made up deadline that he had. So you're just full rebuild mode if Russell Wilson's gone. So I don't blame him one bit. But
Seahawks made 3. Seahawks made the right move re-signing him.
Absolutely.
He needed to be the highest paid player for what he does for that organization. He's unreplaceable.
Yeah, like it sounds like he kind of like had their hands tied. Like that, I'm sure this is like the money that he was demanding. It's not like the Seahawks were like, okay, yeah, we're just gonna here's a blank check, like figure it out. Like Russell Wilson pretty much came to them and said, hey, I need X amount of years, X amount of dollars, or I'm not signing and I'm hitting free agency next year. Like I'm sure that's probably what the situation was like, because you don't make up your own like free agency deadline and like kind of just put everything on the line for the organization, put their backs against the wall. You really don't do that unless you kind of have a number and like a set that you're already basically demanding the team give you. So again, he is now the highest paid player in football. I don't think, like we both said, we don't disagree with what Seattle did. We do disagree on what quarterbacks we're taking instead of Russell Wilson, or ahead of Russell Wilson, but that's, yeah, I mean, I'm all for the debate. That shocked the crap out of me, I'm not gonna lie. Because like Drew Brees, no, oh my goodness.
No.
Yeah, that's insane, but I don't hate it. Like I don't think that's that much of a stretch, but I did not expect you to say that. Like I knew you were like a Russell Wilson fan a little bit, but yeah, I'm gonna argue with it too much. But you got anything else to say about your guy?
No, not too much. I mean, I'm excited to see what he does this year.
Yeah.
It's kind of a tough situation losing his #1 receiver in Doug Baldwin. Brought in Metcalf though, so we'll see what he can do.
Yeah.
See if that run game comes back strong like it was last year.
It'll be interesting. Like I saw a little snippet of Metcalf's like route running in OTAs, and it did not look good. Like it wasn't very promising. And I mean that was always his like downfall, and he's been with the team for what, like maybe a month, I guess it's been about a month almost now, but yeah, I mean, it's going to take a little longer for him to actually develop into a good route runner, but I'm interested to see what that duo can do for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to dive into one quick topic here real quick. So we're going to transition and focus on the AFC for a minute. We're both fans of the AFC North, specifically with me in Pittsburgh and you with Baltimore, but I'm looking at, this was another debate that I was having a few days ago, just how kind of wide open I think the AFC is right now. What teams do you think have a legitimate chance of like competing for a Super Bowl out of the AFC?
All right. Off the top of my head here, first one that came to mind is the Colts. I think the Colts have a real chance this year. They were really last year ahead of schedule. No one expected them to be as good as they were with Luck coming back for the first time since his shoulder injury. Just overall a really young team, but a bunch of those young guys stepped up. On defense specifically, they had a lot of young defensive stars that are only going to get better. And they got Luck, who I just said is a top 5 quarterback. I think he's my number 4 if I had to rank him. And yeah, Luck's got it. He's good.
Oh my gosh,
I think he's going to carry them to a good season. I think they're ready to make a playoff run this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for him. I mean, I have the Colts as like one of my sleeper teams, and it's weird calling them a sleeper, but like they didn't win that division last year. The Texans did.
I know.
But I mean, I'm definitely picking the Colts over the Texans this year.
For sure.
I mean, I'm looking at the Patriots are going to be in that conversation. The Chiefs are an interesting team though, because with the whole Tyreek Hill situation, I'm waiting for just the announcement out of nowhere that they're going to cut Tyreek Hill, because I think it could happen with this whole situation. They did not hesitate whatsoever to cut Kareem Hunt after his whole incident that came out last year, and there was a little bit more to that. Apparently he lied about some of the things that the Chiefs came out and asked him about, and clearly he ended up lying about it. He said that everything wasn't true, ended up being true with the video evidence, so they cut him after that. But this Tyreek Hill situation is not good whatsoever, and if the Chiefs didn't hold back on cutting Kareem Hunt, who is a very talented football player, Pro Bowl, I'll say Pro Bowl level talent at running back. Tyreek Hill's right up there, Pro Bowl level wide receiver, making the Pro Bowl last year. If they cut him, like that offense takes a huge hit.
Oh yeah.
You have Mahomes and Travis Kelce, they're gonna do what they do every single year. So I mean, I think they'll be like a threat in the AFC. But like I think last year, like you're looking at the Chiefs as like the clear-cut favorite, and right now if Tyreek Hill's out, like that's just gonna make the AFC more wide open, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they have Sammy Watkins, but he's never shown he's able to stay healthy.
If Sammy Watkins is your #1 receiver, like you're gonna have some problems. There's no way.
They're gonna be at one point in this season with no wide receiver 1. Who's gonna have? Chris Conley? That's it.
Yeah, like that wide receiver core is just not gonna be in existence, to be honest. But I mean, other than the Chiefs, Patriots are up there. They're gonna be in it every year. Still waiting for the day that Tom Brady just wants to fall off and just take a step back and just let some other guys have a chance. But I mean, we'll see if that actually happens this year. Any other teams you're thinking? I mean, who out of the AFC North? I mean, I still think Pittsburgh has a pretty decent shot this year while Ben is still in his prime. Cleveland's obviously going to be in the conversation with everybody, but I think obviously I've mentioned this 100 times. I think people are overhyping Cleveland a lot. And I don't think they're ready to make a Super Bowl push just yet. I think this team needs to play together for a year or two first under the new coaching staff and all that, but I'll throw those couple teams in the mix as well. Anybody else you're thinking off the top of your head? What do you think? What do you think for the AFC?
Yeah, I mean, I try to stay out of the AFC North just because I'm super biased. I mean, I want to say I see the Ravens making.
Go Baltimore.
Yeah, but I mean, I'll just stay away from that. We'll go back to the Chiefs division, which I think might be
the Chargers.
The most difficult division. That's not where I was actually going.
No.
I was gonna say the Broncos.
Oh, dude.
With Joe Flacco as their new quarterback.
Absolutely not.
I think there is a chance.
Joe Flacco will win no more than 5 football games.
Oh no, I don't think so. I think they're winning at least 8. That's a difficult division. So 8 wins for the Broncos would prove that they're a good team. I think they're getting at least 8.
I'm not denying
solid.
that they're talented. Their defense is solid, and like they have like pretty good offensive weapons around them. But dude, you of all people should know that if Joe Flacco's leading that team, they're not making the playoffs.
I really do think the Broncos might surprise people. But yeah, that is a really tough division. Chargers, like you were about to mention.
Yeah, like
they
that's
have a real
that's
shot
what
as
I'm
well.
saying. Like if you're playing the Chiefs and the Chargers twice, that's 4 games, and I'll just say it's 4 losses.
Yeah.
Like you're starting 0-4 right there. I'm not gonna even mention the Raiders because that's a whole nother crap show.
Yeah,
but we'll get into that maybe
Chargers,
another
though,
time. But
really could
if
make
Phillip
a playoff
Rivers,
push.
if Phillip Rivers is gonna just show up in the playoffs just once,
Yeah.
like I mean, his defense didn't help him at all. I mean, the Patriots were up by like 100 before halftime last year when they
that's
matched up in the
embarrassing.
second round. So
So
I mean, that was
frustrating.
like I was frustrated because I've always like rooted for Phillip Rivers, and I mean, I'm always gonna root against the Patriots come playoff time. So that was kind of a double-edged sword. Double positive was rooting for the Chargers, and it just didn't work out. But maybe things can turn around this year.
Saw a Ravens fan watching that game after just being beat by the Chargers
Yeah,
and watching
yeah,
them get
yeah.
smacked by the Patriots. All I was thinking was Ravens could be so much closer in this game. Like, I really believe that. But yeah, it's tough. But Phillip Rivers is playing pretty much as good as he has in his career.
Oh, he played great football last year.
Yeah.
He was a top-level quarterback, I think, in just terms of numbers, productivity, efficiency too. Not throwing many interceptions, so I was definitely happy with how
They're
Phillip
gonna be.
Rivers played.
That's gonna be my one team. I'm gonna say the Chargers. I really think.
Yeah,
That's my number one that out of the AFC could kind of surprise us, but not
surprised
really.
a lot of people.
They got it. They got everything going for them. They got Melvin Gordon,
I'll
top,
say they have a
top
lot of
5 running
weapons.
back in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Keenan Allen stayed healthy
Insane
last year.
receivers. Yeah, Mike Williams is going to be better. Hunter Henry's back, and then their defense. They've shown flashes to be
Yeah.
something good. Just got to
sure.
step up in the bigger games.
Yeah, man. All right, yeah, so that's our take on the AFC and just some other NFL topics. We'll probably have you on here pretty soon. We'll maybe just dive into the NFC and just do the other half and kind of talk about some potential threats. We're going to close it out there, guys, real quick. So, again, thank you guys for tuning into this Heated Sports episode. We really appreciate it. If you tuned in last week, we had some new elements. We have the phone calls that we had on last week, and we had Harrison on this week. We're going to make that open to any of the viewers as well. So if any of you guys want to call into the show, ask me a quick question, kind of get my thoughts on a few things, we're definitely open to having you guys call in while we're recording. We also had a special guest on last week. Thank you again to Drew for coming on. He was really awesome to talk some basketball with. And if you'd be interested in coming on the podcast, if you're local in like the central PA, Lancaster area, we would love to try to make that happen and get you on the podcast. So not going to be an every week thing. This week we obviously didn't have one, but I mean, we're definitely open to getting some special guests on here. Just kind of talking a lot of sports. Whatever you want to talk about, I'll be open to it. So we're definitely looking forward to adding that back onto the podcast. Again, real quick, social media, Twitter and Instagram @HeatedSports_. We're back active on both of those, posting our articles throughout the week on www.heated-sports.com, going over a lot of our different topics and everything like that. This fly will not want to go away, but trying to kill this fly for like literally all day, but it doesn't want to go anywhere. But again, check out those articles, check out the social media posts. We're on Facebook now as well, so check out Heated Sports on Facebook. Link to our other social media accounts so you can stay up to date on a lot of different platforms. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back here next Tuesday night, so be sure to tune into that, and we'll see you next time. Have a good week, guys.